not in the best, I mean, normally I don't be kirtan, but I'm not in the best shape for doing something. I'm getting over something. Even like when we were chanting, when we were singing this morning, she didn't comment on my voice being okay.
I understand.
I'll do it sometime in the future.
You can tell her my
This would be a good time to do it
I
because
still
there's so
have a-
few people here.
Yeah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Prastachare Shajarine Jai Shri Krishna
Hare
Muralidhar this morning.
Haribo.
And now he's giving Bhagavata.
Haribo.
Did he cook the feast?
He does everything around here. So, yes, thank you so much for being here. It's so lovely to see everyone. And we have Vasudeva. Everyone in this room knows Vasudeva. Say Haribo if you love Vasudeva.
Haribo.
Say one more Haribo if you love
Haribo.
Say one more if you love Vasudeva.
One more. Haribo.
I think maybe that's my introduction.
Haribo.
That's Vasudeva. Everybody loves Vasudeva. Vasudeva's the best.
Haribo. Hare Krishna.
Somehow not hearing. Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here, for coming to this class and participating. The devotees are truly desire trees. One just offers prayers to them and suddenly things appear on the screen. Thank you, Jani Thakur, for saving me here. So we're continuing our series on the Shikshastakam. We completed verse 1 and verse 2.
verse 1, in very brief, describes the glory of chanting the holy names and all the effects it produces. Basically, it produces complete perfection. It gives complete perfection. Can give one complete self-realization, complete bliss, complete immersion in the ocean of love of God, which is unending bliss. Yet, we do not always experience that. I can speak for myself, I guess. Most of you will have a similar experience. We don't always experience that while chanting, all those effects. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, first of all, he says, why this chanting is so powerful? Because it's Krishna himself. The holy name is Krishna himself. He's invested not some, all of his potencies in the holy name. And there's no rule, any time, any place you can chant. Even while eating, while bathing, it says. You can do other things. You can always chant. But then Lord Chaitanya says, I'm so unfortunate that I haven't, that attachment in my heart isn't born for the chanting. This is my so this is my misfortune. Durdaiva means my misfortune. So then Bhaktivinoda Thakur comments that this misfortune is that we commit aparadas, we commit offenses. So we talked about that quite a bit last time. Offense basically means aparada, means away from worship, means not giving full attention to the name, first of all, with understanding that it's non-different, that he is non-different from Krishna himself. And then also there's so much related to the name. The devotees who chant the name, the guru who offers the name, the shastras which describe the name. So there's many, many things related to the name. So to consider these ordinary things and to disrespect these things or entities, personalities, that constitutes offense. So chanting, really chanting, it's very easy in a way. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the Prabhupada says it's simple and sublime. It's very easy. It's the easiest process. There's no easier process ever. There's many different ages, more difficult processes. But then here, this is where it gets a little difficult to not commit any offenses. And kind of the consciousness in which one does not commit offense, or in other words, the ideal kind of consciousness in which to chant the holy name, that's described in the next verse. I was just listening to something, just Googling, not even Googling, on YouTube. I thought, let's put in out the switch in it. So I found a little clip from Bhagavata by Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Bhai Bhav Puri Maharaj. She was very favorable to Srila Prabhupada. I got to see him a few times, very, very exalted and special Vaishnava. He said, chanting Hare Krishna is very easy. No, it's not easy. It's actually quite difficult. When it comes to the consciousness. The chanting, the process itself is actually very easy. But then to attain this consciousness is a little difficult, as you will see. I almost feel very unqualified, or I do feel very unqualified to speak on this verse, because I feel like my reality is so different from what's described. But that's actually why we speak on this. That's why we study this. That's why we talk about this. That's why we discuss this. To understand what is required from us, and to see what we can do to get there, and be encouraged together, encourage each other to move forward in our spiritual life. So I'll read from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is the 20th chapter, the very last chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Lord Chaitanya is situated in his room, the Gambhira. Who of you has been to the Gambhira?
Haribo!
That's a really special place. Small, little small room. He's sitting there with Ramananda Roy and Sravana Damodar's most intimate associates, and he's speaking all these verses and discussing them with them. You can try to chant. I'll chant slowly so we can chant it together. Jai Rupalaya Nama Prema Upajaya Dhamma Lakshana Suna Swarupa Mangalaya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, O Swarup Damodar Ramananda Roy, hear from me the symptoms of how one should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to awaken very easily one's dormant love for Krishna. Again, it's very easy, but then the symptoms of one who can very easily attain awaken love for Krishna, that is a little more difficult. So we'll chant responsibly. Dinarapi sunichena
Dinarapi sunichena
Karori vasishnana
Karori vasishnana
Amanina manadena
Amanina manadena
Kirtaniya sada hari
Kirtaniya sada hari.
Who would like to read?
One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord.
Yes. I also saw a little clip of Mahatma Prabhu, and he says, this is the most overlooked verse in the Hare Krishna movement. In a sense, we all know it. It's probably like a verse, like if I would wake Yadunatha up at like 2 a.m. Yeah, so Yadunatha, third verse of the Shikshastakam. He will probably be able to. That's kind of like our relationship with this verse. We know it very, very, very well. But how actively do we meditate on this? How actively do we have we really pondered over this verse? How much have we really reflected on this and what it means and how to integrate this in one's life? So let's hear Lord Chaitanya's explanation. Utamahaya apanake mane trinadham dui prakare sahishnuta kare vrikshasam. Who would like to? You can just all read the translations, you can just take turns.
These are the symptoms of one who chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Although he is very exalted, he thinks himself lower than the grass on the ground, and like a tree, he tolerates everything in 2 ways.
Very interesting. So he thinks just herself lower than the grass on the ground, and tolerates everything in 2 ways. So let's hear what these 2 ways are. Vrikhayena katileha kichuna bolay Shukana malihe kore pane na magaye.
When a tree is cut down, it does not protest. And even when drying up, it does not ask anyone for water.
Yes, 2 ways. When a tree is cut down, it does not protest. And when drying up, it does not ask anyone for water. Now, of course, we need to unpack this a little bit because this sounds like, oh, okay. If somebody is ready to attack me, I don't protest. And if I basically starve myself to death.
We brought you some water there, Vasudeva.
Thank you. I didn't ask for it, so I'll happily drink it.
Haribo.
Vaishnavas are very compassionate. Jai Jai Ma Gaye Tare Deya Apan Dhan Dharma Vrishti Sahe Ane Kare Rakshan.
The tree delivers its fruits, flowers, and whatever else it possesses to anyone and everyone. It tolerates scorching heat and torrents of rain, yet it still gives shelter to others.
So yeah, I was actually wondering if Mahaprabhu is saying that he tolerates everything in two ways. If he was referring to the two ways of the previous verse, or that it was just one way, and then the second way is this way. Because also if we read Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary, he says the essence of this sahishnuna, or sahishnu, or tolerance, is not just like a kind of grinding it out. It's actually compassion. He defines this tolerance as compassion, daya, not just tolerating, but actually being in a selfless mood, not asking anything for oneself, tolerating even harm done to one, but still giving, still offering, still never considering anyone a friend or enemy, just selflessly giving. That's an essential part of this taror ivasishnuna, to be tolerant like a tree who has these, which has these symptoms. And yes, we'll get back to this in greater detail. Uttamahaya Vaishnava Have Nirabhiman Jiva Samana Dive Jane Krishna Dishtan.
Although a Vaishnava is the most exalted person, he is prideless and gives all respect to everyone, knowing everyone to be the resting place of Krishna.
Yeah. So Nirabhiman, prideless. We hear Amanina, not desiring any respect for oneself, and Manadin, giving respect to everyone. So we hear in brief here that there's a relationship between being prideless and being able to offer respect to everyone. There's a relationship between being prideless and not wanting any respect. If we have pride in our heart, what comes with that is, I want respect. These are closely related. That's something we'll explore. And then offering respects to everyone. What's the distinguishing characteristic of this offering respect? What makes a Vaishnava want to offer respect to everyone?
Krishna's in their heart.
Yeah, Krishna Adhisthana. They are the resting place there. Every living being is the abode of Krishna. Krishna resides in every living being. That's the Paramatma. Aimata hayake Krishna namalai Shri Krishna charane tar prema upajai. If one chants the holy name of Krishna in this manner, he will certainly awaken his dormant love for Krishna's lotus feet. So there's a great reward in following this, in living by these principles, is that one actually creates a very favorable atmosphere in the heart for love for Krishna to fully blossom and develop. So there's another section in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Four here. In which Lord Chaitanya also describes this. This is in the Adi Lila, chapter 17. And in this section, Lord Chaitanya is just starting his Sankirtan movement. And he's instructing the devotees on the chanting of the holy names. So he just instructed them in one verse. Hare Nama,
Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva.
So we just established that the process for this age is chanting the Hare Nama, the holy names of Krishna. And there's no other way, no other way, no other way. So he went in a bit of detail describing that. And now he's going to describe how to chant that holy name for the effect to take place. So it's very interesting that this verse is again highlighted somewhere else in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It has, in that sense, it's very, you could make a case that it's the most important verse of the whole Shastra. There's a process of spiritual realization in Bhakti which is called Siddha Pranali. Siddha Pranali is a bona fide process in which a very qualified student approaches a very highly realized teacher, a self-realized teacher in Bhakti, who can reveal your eternal form in the spiritual world. And you meditate on that form internally as you do your practices. Our acharyas have strongly recommended this process because it's actually for highly elevated souls and it's not for 99.9% anymore in this age we live in. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati said, we have a Siddha Pranali mantra. We have also a mantra which reveals your eternal form in the spiritual world. Which mantra do you think that is? Yes, it's this very verse, Trinada Pisanichi. So it's so crucial among all those verses in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I'll read this. Trinahayta nichahaya sadalabhinam aparinya nirabhamani anyadiveman. Please.
Chant the holy name always. One should be humbler than the grass in the street and devoid of all desire for personal honor. But one should offer others all respectful obeisances.
Yes, so basically a paraphrase of the verse. So then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to describe a little bit more, especially about that Sahishnuna again. We get a little more detail here. Taru sama Sahishnuta Vaishnava Karive Vatsanatar Dane Kake Kichuna Balive.
A devotee engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord should practice forbearance like that of a tree. Even if rebuked or chastised, he should not say anything to others to retaliate.
So this kind of comments a little bit more on that. The tree doesn't protest when it's cut down. We'll discuss a little bit more about that later. But yeah, here it defines it as when you're rebuked or chastised, not when you're like being killed. Although even we find examples of great Vaishnavas who don't even protest against that. But that may not be our level. So here it highlights like we all get rebuked, chastised, or somebody points out some mistake in us and then we tend to retaliate, we tend to like fight back, but here it says no. I remember when I first came to the ashram here, we had quite a fiery pujari at that time. He was from South America and he could get a little fiery, and that was actually with Dayal Garanga. We were somehow in front of the kitchen and he had not placed something in the right place or something, and he was just like lashing out at him, and I was like, what just happened? And I said, Dayal was like, oh, sorry, Prabhu. It was like very humble. I thought, wow, this is such a so amazing. I think I told him like, you don't have to take this. But it was kind of my response, how I would respond to him. But he was just like, he's just peaceful and just shook it up. I was really impressed with our dialogue. Tilaya Tarayena Kitchen of Alive, Sukaya Moritabu Jalanamagai.
For even if one cuts a tree, it never protests, and even if it is drying up and dying, it does not ask for anyone for water.
Yes. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now he described the first part. It doesn't protest. Qualify it as like when you chastise or rebuke, someone's criticizing you, you don't retaliate. Now he's going to describe the other part, that it doesn't ask for anything, what that means. Emata Vaishnava Kare Kitchena Magiva Ayachita Vrite Kinva Shakapala Kaive.
Thus, a Vaishnava should not ask anything from anyone else. If someone gives him something without being asked, he should accept it. But if nothing comes, a Vaishnava should be satisfied to eat whatever vegetables and fruits are easily available.
So yeah, the essence here is that, a Vaishnava should be satisfied to eat whatever vegetables and fruits are easily available. And this is very much describes also the path of a renunciant or a Brahmin, like who lives more or less by begging. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that you don't even need to beg. Just whatever comes to you, be satisfied with that. Now, of course, that's not applicable to none of us here in this room as far as he's a renunciant. So, but the thing we can take from is to be satisfied with what one gets very easily. This principle, santosha, to be satisfied with what one has and not wanting more than that. And that's here, Lord Chaitanya repeats again. Next verse. Sadanana laive yata labete santosh eta achara kare bhakti dharma posh.
One should strictly follow the principle of always chanting the holy name, and one should be satisfied with whatever he gets easily. Such devotional behavior solidly maintains one's devotional service.
So then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again quotes the verse. Now, next verse, I'm not sure if it's Srila Prabhupada in the commentary in the purport says that this is actually spoken by Krishnadas Kaviraj. Urva bhao kore kahon shuna sarvalok nama sutra gante para kante e shlok.
Raising my hands, I declare, everyone please hear me. String this verse on the thread of the holy name and wear it on your neck for continuous remembrance.
We'll get to the purports. I'll read all of it in one unit and then we'll get to that. And now the last verse. Prabhagya kare shloka charan avarshapaye tabe Shri Krishna charan.
One must strictly follow the principles given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this verse. If one simply follows in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya and Goswamis, certainly he will achieve the ultimate goal of life, the lotus gate of Sri Krishna.
Thank you, thank you. So let's get back to the verse. So it says Trinadapi Sunichena. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and we'll be referring to his commentary and adding some comments of his to it. So he did comments on the Sunichena, this humility. He says that this is a humility, actually all these qualifications are produced when one chants the holy name without offense. So one develops these automatically when one chants without offense. And Srila Prabhupada also, he refers to that. Give me just 1 second. In relationship to the tolerance. And I think you can kind of apply this to the other principles as well, but he highlights the tolerance here. The practice of forbearance is very difficult. But when one actually engages in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the quality of forbearance automatically develops. A person advanced in spiritual consciousness through the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra need not practice to develop it separately. For a devotee develops all good qualities simply by chanting the Maha Mantra regularly. So Prabhupada says here, one does not need to practice to develop it separately. But then at the same time it said, if one practices this, so that's why, it's chant, like string. Krishna Das Kaviraj says, I raise my hands, I declare. You make a necklace of the holy name in this verse, put it around your neck. So at the same time, we are encouraged to practice this. So what do you guys think? How does this work? Does one need to practice this separately, as Prabhupada says? Or not?
I think it is a conscious effort towards, making an effort to practice when the situation arises that we are not able to practice it. I think that's important one. And second, I think there is this relationship that when we chant well, we are able to have more forbearance. With more forbearance, we are able to chant better. So it's correlated.
Yes. Yeah, in a sense, Prabhupada says here, a person advanced in spiritual consciousness through the chanting of the Maha, we need not practice to develop it separately. When you're actually advanced, when you are advanced, then you naturally, but the more so, when we're not advanced, we should pay attention to these principles and try to imbibe them. And of course, to our ability, according to our qualifications. There's one Vaishnava, Fakir Mohan Prabhu, a very senior, elderly, extremely humble, and very exalted and learned Vaishnava. He said, I heard him once speak about this. It's like, he said, like, how can you just do this? Live on the level, as it's described here. It's like, how long can you keep in your breath? How long, we cannot just artificially act on a level which we're not. That will never work. But we can start to act in some ways on this from wherever we are by understanding the principles. And that will help the quality of our chanting and help us to avoid offenses, especially to other living beings and other Vaishnavas. And when the quality increases of our chanting, then we can develop these qualities better. So I think you nicely touched on all of those points. That's why a little later, actually, Srila Prabhupada says, very interesting, he doesn't make a lot of comments. You would think, oh, this is such an important verse, he'll make a lot of comments. He gives extensive descriptions about, all these principles. But he says, no. It's a very interesting purport here on this very verse where he says, like, I raise my hands. You take this verse really to heart, Krishna's comrade says. Now Prabhupada's purpose is very interesting because you would think some of Prabhupada's purpose are like 10 pages long, you know, like so you get like an extensive description of like what are these qualities, how to imbibe them. So Prabhupada says, first thing he says, in the beginning of may come with offenses, which are called nama bhas and nama aparad. In that stage, there's no possibility of achieving perfect love. And therefore, one must chant according to the principles in this verse. And then he says, one should note in this connection that chanting involves the activities of the upper and lower lip as well as the tongue. So what he's choosing to highlight here is that one must use the upper and the lower lip and the tongue. It's very interesting. It's like I always was intrigued by this purport. All three must be engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. The words Hare Krishna should be very distinctly pronounced and heard. Sometimes one mechanically produces a hissing sound. Instead of chanting with the proper pronunciation with the help of the lips and the tongue. Chanting is very simple, but it must be practiced seriously. So probably hones in that if you do chant very seriously, then this will come. Then one can really understand these principles. They start to awaken in oneself. And one cannot really start to meditate on them and practice them. But it really starts with just being serious about chanting. Because why more humble than the rest? Why more tolerant than the tree? Why no respect for oneself and all respects to others? Kirtaniya Sadhari, to always chant the holy names. That's the whole point. So Prabhupada says, start from there. Just pronounce the holy names very distinctly and using your lips and tongue. I remember when I was a very young devotee, I was in Amsterdam temple and I was sitting there chanting, and apparently my pronunciation was not so good. And many times we're not even aware of it. Like sometimes I hear like devotees who've been around for like 30, 40 years, 50 years, and you hear the chanting, and like missing a few words here and there. It's like it doesn't quite sound like. Of course, we don't want to judge. Like Krishna may be fully present in whatever they're chanting, or maybe I'm not hearing it correctly, so we don't pass judgment. But to my ears, it doesn't sound quite. So I felt like when I was a very young devotee, I was not chanting properly, but I was very fortunate that someone really chastised me. He said like, what are you chanting? Where do you think you're gonna go? Like, you know, some planet where there is. That's kind of how he phrased it for me. So, but I felt actually it was a little hard and a little harsh also. Was a good opportunity to practice the verse itself. But then I really started to try to like really pronounce every syllable correctly, and it really improved my chanting. So this is what Srila Prabhupada chooses to highlight. So yeah, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says that it really comes about from inoffensive chanting. And inoffensive chanting, this is where it starts, to pronounce and hear distinctly. And then one awakens humility. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes his humility as coming forth from detachment, actually. And he describes it quite interesting, like also kind of out of left field. He says that when a Vaishnava chants in the proper way, then this detachment naturally develops. That one thinks, he says, first thing he says, he kind of paraphrases in his commentary how such a Vaishnava thinks. What's the internal process? He says, Aham Krishna Dasa. I'm Krishna's eternal servant. I'm a spark, minute spark of divine consciousness. I'm Krishna's eternal servant. But because of my misfortune is that I turn my back on Krishna. Krishna Bahirmukha, Doshen, by the fall of turning away from Krishna, I become involved in this material world of sense gratification. Like I'm running after the objects, the things of this world. So, and that's my misfortune. So, in that mood of like, kind of, I messed up. I'm not like, this is who I am. So there is, real humility starts from an understanding who I am. When there's no understanding who I am, then there's always this kind of stereotypical question, humility versus self-confidence, right? Real humility starts with understanding who I really am. And understanding one's really awkward position here, that I'm chit, I'm spirit, but I'm so absorbed in this temporal material world, temporal body, and it's full of all the things we undergo in this material world, lust, anger, greed, pride, and so on. It's not a very great situation. When we really understand our position, then we're not in a very great situation. There's really nothing to be proud of when we are pure spirit soul. We are contaminated. Like, what in your contaminated state, what are you going to be proud of? So in that state, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the devotee calls out, Ha Krishna, Ha Gaurachandra, Ha Prananath, Oh Krishna, Oh Gaurachandra, Oh Lord of my life, please grant me, please let me attain Shuddha Dasam, pure servitude to you. Please let me again be able to stay in my position. There's a strong sense of like dependence. Like I depend on you. Like, I'm kind of stuck here in this material identification. Begging, please lift me up. Please give me your shelter. It's like when you see a beggar on the street, right? Like a beggar doesn't approach you, even here we have many beggars. Does a beggar approach you like, give me money? Sometimes. It's more like, please help me. There's a kind of humility, even there. Although it's often the kind of a contrived humility to get what you want. This is not humility like that. It's a genuine like feeling of Krishna, please help me, please lift me up. Because I'm in this very fallen state. So it's based on self-realization. It's based on really understanding, at least to a preliminary standard, I understand who I am. It's the same as expressed in the prayers of Queen Kunti, that when one is like gets too absorbed in things which make one proud, like Janma, like one's great birth, some exalted family, or I'm from a rich family. You heard devotees kind of be proud about this, like, oh, I'm from a very rich family. I know also, like, even coming from the West, you go to India, like some village or something, and there's like this subtle pride in you, although you think like, all these people are very exalted. And they are more exalted. Even the most simple villager often in India like, has much greater qualities than I would ever have in terms of tolerance and humility and simplicity and so on. But that's kind of that subtle pride because you're from the so-called Western, more civilized, more rich world, that you are somehow, somehow that's there. So Janma, Aishwarya, like wealth, Shuddha, education, Shri, beauty, personal body beauty. So these things are 4 things really create like abhiman, some pride within one. And then, what does Queen Kunti say? Naiva abhidhatum pai. Abhidhatum means to call. They can never really call you with sincere feeling, Prabhupada translates. Like, unless one really feels kind of a destitute situation in this world and a strong sense of dependence on Krishna, please, you can only lift me up out of it. Then you can call the holy name. You have to become akinchana. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also said that there's nothing for me. I have an eternal soul, I'm a spirit. There's actually nothing of value for me in this world. Of course, that doesn't mean we don't value like what we have, what Krishna has given to us, the people, the things we have, the people Krishna sends in our life. We value that, but for me, we see things in relationship to Krishna, but outside of things in relationship to Krishna, there's actually nothing of value in this world. So that's the akinchana mood, like there's nothing, I only have you. That's all I have, is you. So Krishna becomes easily approached by one who's akinchana gochara. He comes in the range of approach by someone who has that mood of being a kinshana. So that's humility. Then the tolerance of the tree. I think that's, yeah, it's very intensely described here. Even you cut down, you don't protest. Like, it's so far away. Like, I just was reading about Haridas Thakur. I thought, okay, let me just look into this. What it really means, you know? Like, how does a siddha, a perfect person, practice this? And then we'll kind of take it from there. We cannot imitate that. That's called anukara, imitation. But anusara, how can I follow this? So by listening about the glories of great souls, we can actually try to follow in their footsteps. So Haridas Thakur, he was, we all know this story, most of us, I guess. He was condemned by the Muslim ruler. He was born in a Muslim family, but he was chanting Krishna's name all the time, like he was ecstatic. Like it's described how he was just wandering everywhere, just like sometimes he would fall unconscious, tears would come from his eyes. Like, and he was highly respected, both in the Muslim society, in the Hindu society. Everybody kind of knew this Haridas, he's the real deal. He's a serious saint. So, but one Muslim ruler was very upset because this Muslim is attracting so much attention, but he's following the Hindu dharma in his view. So this is creating a very bad example, so he wanted to punish him. So he approached the local king, said like, please arrest him. So the king complied and said like, okay. So he got Haridas brought. So Haridas came, was put into prison for a while, and he enlightened the prisoners, who also started to chant. So, and then he was brought, and Haridas explained, why are you making this distinction between the Hindu God, the Muslim God? There's only one supreme being, and he's inspiring us all in different ways. And you can cut my body in 1,000 pieces, but I will not stop chanting the holy name. So it was very firm. He said, only request was you just give this up, and you recite prayers from the Quran, repenting your deviation from the Muslim dharma. Haridas said, no, I can't. So then he was beaten in 22 marketplaces. And normally after this more of a common punishment, usually after 1 or 2, they would be dead. But Haridas, he didn't feel anything actually. The Lord protected him. And he was kind of just blissfully chanting. Inconceivable, like he was like being beat. Every beat, Krishna! And he was quite blissful actually. But then the Muslim guards became very like afraid. They said like, if you're gonna die, then king is gonna kill us. He thinks we're cheating him. So he said, oh, you want me to die? Okay. So then he kind of went into samadhi in a trance, and then they threw him in the Ganga, and after some time he, awoke again and came out of his trance, and that was it. After that, he was the king. Even the king understood, this is not an ordinary person. But while he was being beaten, what was going on in Haridas's mind?
Just praying for the users.
Yeah, he was praying for them. He was not feeling angry, he was not feeling upset, he was praying for them. And that's the tree, the quality of the tree. It not only doesn't protest, it keeps on giving. The tree gives so much. Like there's a whole section in the Bhagavatam. Krishna's glorifying the trees. Like they give us fruit. They're so merciful. They give us shade. They give us fruits. We can use their saps, the bark of the trees. There's so much the trees give us. And even when you cut it or don't give it water, it doesn't protest. Keeps on giving, keeps on giving. So the tree is so compassionate. So the tolerance is imbued with compassion. So how do we follow that? Any thoughts on this? Yes.
I have a thought. It's so beautiful, Vasudeva. I'm just like writing notes like crazy. But what do we do with that? I'm wondering, and I want to know what you think. Maybe the humility comes in forgiving, in doing the right thing, but in admitting, most importantly to ourselves, that we're not fully there yet. Sometimes I think that's a crucial step that we miss. We either forgive, we do the thing and hold resentment inside and don't tell anyone that we're not fully there, or we don't forgive and go the other extreme. But I'm wondering if, and I haven't fully got it through, but I wonder if what you're saying is that we do the thing, like in sadhana bhakti, we're doing the behavior, but we recognize in ourselves, Krishna, I'm not there. I'm not feeling what I want to feel. I'm not at this uttama level. But somehow you're calling me to act in a way that is higher than where I am at this moment.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. I think, recognizing that we're not there. We cannot just we cannot just hold our breath. It will come out at some point. It's not, when we get into a situation where we face abuse of some kind, it's not so easy. We might not just shift from one moment to another, like Haridas Thakur praying for the benefit of that person. For us, it may be more of a process. But we should recognize, like you said, I'm not there yet. I don't pretend to be there, that I'm there yet. But we can recognize these situations, which will undoubtedly all come upon us in this life. In each and every devotee's life, there will be a situation where we have to really practice Trinada Pisunicena, where it's kind of like, now I really have to bow down and practice this, or I kind of start to kind of deviate from the path. There will be that time which comes, and we should recognize and see that opportunity. That this is kind of like a time where I can really start to integrate these principles, and they can become more realized. Where we really have to work towards forgiveness. The essence here of this verse, of this quality of the tree, is also not that if we're in an abusive situation, we need to also remove ourselves. It doesn't say stay in an abusive situation. There's an incident, and there is an ongoing situation we may have to remove ourselves from. But the quality we should seek to develop internally, and through the chanting will very much give us the strength, is to see I don't keep malice to anyone, not even someone who's abusing me. That is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur defines this quality as compassion, decorated, alankrita, with nirmatsara, with non-envy or non-malice. And this non-envy or malice is wishing ill on someone. A Vaishnava never wishes ill on anyone. Even someone who abuses them. That is something that is a process, but that's something we can get to that space through the mercy of the Holy Name, through chanting the Holy Names. That even if we feel wronged in some way, even a person who chastises or rebukes us or does something bad, we come to a state of like, I pray for that person. Jesus also beautifully describes this quality actually in the Sermon on the Mount. I tend not to quote the Bible in Bhagavata class. As a matter of fact, sometimes in our Bhagavata classes, I feel it's too often quoted as a regular scripture. It's not our scripture. But here it's so perfect. That's a powerful statement of Jesus Christ, which he followed also on the cross, praying for his abusers. He says, it says, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say, you also love your enemy. Otherwise, what's the great thing about loving those who love us? What's so great about that? You know, what is really great is when we love those who... Love means like, when we feel, we wish well to those, even those who act inimitably to us. That's the standard of Vaishnavism. It's a standard of Christianity also, which is actually really, you can see a Vaishnava. It's non-different in its essence there, in that kind of cultivation of those qualities. So yes, and then not being proud on anything. We tend to become proud of anything we have. Even the pauper is proud of his penny, right? Anything we have, or any designation we have. I'm a Brahmana. I'm a businessman. I'm wealthy. I am. And so that becomes like, I want respect for that. And then it becomes very hard to not, when you're proud of something, then naturally we want to be respected for that. Now, and usually we don't see that until the time when somebody like disrespects us. No, then it's like, it comes out very strongly. So again, then the principle of the tree comes in, that should not, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, one should not retaliate. One should not, when one is disrespected, it's not that one starts to defend oneself. Again, it's a similar process. It's I think, by the strength of proper chanting, the first step we have to develop is the art of not responding when we come into a situation like that. That's probably the first step. When we not respond, we hold the feeling, we work it through from this perspective of this verse, and then we can kind of let things go. But it stops with when you're burning inside. You know, someone makes that comment, that criticism, that disrespect. Yes, that's kind of where it will start. So yeah, these are some thoughts on this verse. Again, there's so much to say about it. We just kind of touched the surface. I hope we shed some light on these principles. Yes, thank you.
Krishna Vasudeva Prabhu ki jai.
Hi. Everyone can come forward. We can move the cushions to the side and have arti for Sri Sravana for the Gargoyle chant.
Buddha ki jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prasharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Asyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Bhaktivinoda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Jai.
Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. GBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Acharya Haridas Thakur jai. Namaste Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasani Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopavana Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Maya Purna Dham ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai. Yamuna Maya ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Murlidhar ki jai. Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Shri Bhagavan ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Sankirtan Yajna ki jai. Brahmananga Transcendental Distribution ki jai. Prasadam Distribution ki jai. Anikai Gola Prema. All glories to the assembly. All glories to the assembly. All glories to the assembly. All glories to the Lord Sri Guru and Sri Govinda. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Kashiru